All right, so I'm going to turn this into a stand-up piece. It's a piece of petrified wood. And what I'm thinking here is, I've got just one hand holding the camera here. Cut that bottom flat so it stands up like this. Just be a tall display piece. So I'm going to make a cut flat across this bottom. Get a good view of the whole thing before we put it in there. So I'm going to get it set up in there. I was thinking I might still maybe cut one vertical somewhere, maybe down here by my pinky. Maybe something just while it's sitting up to display another cut side, but I don't know. The shape may not lend itself to that very well. All right, so I'm going to get it all situated here. All right, so I'm going to do that and then I'll come back. Okay, so I got this in here and gotten it tightened down. So we're going to get the carriage in the spot that we want it to be. I got to run it back a little ways and then slide it over. It's a little caught up. The gear that I'm bringing it in on may have a little bit of dirt in it. Need to use two hands here. Sorry, you're not getting a great view at the moment. There, it's starting to move a little better. Still getting wedged up. There it goes. Now it's moving better. Okay. So I got to figure out how much I'm going to cut off here. I'm going to have to take off. I've got this big empty void down here, so I'm going to have to bring it in quite a ways. I don't have to take every bit of that off to get it to stand up, but here's what may need to happen for me to do this well. I may have to rotate it a bit in the vise this way. Let's try that. Okay, I think I've got it in here the way I want it. So I've got this deep pocket here. I'm going to still cut that mostly off, so I have a nice flat bottom. Kind of got this thing propped up a little, put a wedge under it to get this tip lifted so that when it sits on its flat side, it's not all cattywampus. At least I hope not. And I think we're ready to get this thing lined up and going. Bring it in pretty tight because, like I say, I want to get rid of most of this groove down here. And if there's a little bit of it left, that may be fine, but let's try to take it off right to that edge. All right, that should be pretty good. All right, we're nice and tight. We'll get it started. Now let me make sure the chains, I think my chain is way out anyway. I'll make sure it's not going to turn off prematurely. It's the shut-off, adjusting this chain down here. Sometime I'll do a video and explain kind of how the whole saw works. But that chain right there, when it pulls this little plunger out, it turns it all off. All right, here we go. All right, through some movie magic, I've got the light up here, and can't quite see in there yet, but pretty soon we'll be able to see clearer once the oil starts running down the inside of the window here. All right, well, that's got a little ways to go, but that's where we're at. All right, I opened this thing up before it started to cut because I needed to get it closer to the blade. It was way back here. So since I did, and it's got oil on it now, I'm just gonna get a look at this thing when it's all kind of oiled up, see what we got for colors on the outside here. Looks pretty good. Let's bring in a little more light. Kind of more interesting, darker colors down at this end. And right there at the base. All right, so get this thing running. check in after it's been cutting for a little bit. Alright, so that thing's done. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, this is... maybe I'm wrong about what it is. I thought it was wood from the shape of some of it, but I might be totally wrong with what I thought it was. I'll have to look. I'm not great at identifying. There's some basic stuff I can tell, but beyond that, I'm still pretty new at trying to figure out what I'm looking at. Okay, so that piece there, and then on the bottom there, I'll get this out of the vise and stand it up once, and we'll see what it looks like. I got my wedge in there. All right, so as like a display, I was thinking to stand up tall like that, kind of see the different sides, but it may not be what I thought it was. If you're watching this and you know more about this than I do, tell me in the comments what I've got. I'll have to do a little research. But all right, that's what it looks like cut. Little stand-up kind of display. And if that's not what it stays, then I might cut up more parts of it. Okay, thanks for watching. See you later.